Good afternoon and welcome back to the Little French Homestead. My name is Sherry, and if you are new to my channel, welcome. So today we're going to be making another one of my family favorites. This is a one-pot homemade hamburger helper recipe, and I am going to go ahead and leave the recipe linked down below and any equipment that I've used to go ahead and make this meal prep for today. So in my pot, I've got 2 pounds of ground beef, and I'm going to be adding that onion. It's 1 medium onion chopped up. Then you're going to want to make sure that that gets thoroughly browned. Can take anywhere between 7 to 10 minutes on medium. Then you're going to go ahead and if there's any excess fats and oils in there, you want to go ahead and get most of that out of there. You don't want that sitting in there. After your ground beef and your onions have been cooked for the 7 to 10 minutes, and you don't want any more red on your ground beef, you are going to stir in some tomato paste, some garlic powder, and some homemade or just chili powder, but I have homemade chili powder. You're going to go ahead, and I did add a little bit of salt and pepper to this as well. You can do it to your taste. I did need to add a little bit more toward the end of the dinner. I didn't have enough flavoring, but there was still more than enough chili and garlic powder to use for the one, because it's 1 teaspoon of each. Then you see here I've got pop topping open my homemade beef broth. We need to use 6 cups of that. So I do have 4 pints sitting here. I did eventually put all of them in here, and I did add a little bit of extra noodles. When I was measuring out my pints here, they didn't quite reach the 2-cup mark. They were about 1 3/4. So I had eventually ended up all of the rest in there. I did not use all of the fat that you see on the rim. I did use a little bit of fat, but I didn't use all of it. I still wanted some of that flavor. Now, when I make my homemade beef broth or chicken broth or any broth that I make, I don't add any type of seasonings to it, because I want to make sure that I want to add the seasoning as I go to all of my recipes. That way I don't over season it with salt or pepper and it makes it either too spicy or too salty. I like to do it as I'm cooking, as I go. So I don't have any elbow macaroni noodles, so I have these other, I think it's called like Calvarelli noodles that I have, and I just little over 2 cups in there. I think I did still add a bit more after the fact. You can do what you need to do. This is supposed to feed 8 people. I always make sure I have a little bit extra because my husband usually takes some to go to work with. Once you go ahead and bring up the beef to a broil, the beef broth and all the ingredients, then you want to add then the noodles. You are going to leave this uncovered. You want to reduce the heat down a little bit. After you reduce the heat down a little bit, it's going to take about 15 minutes or so for the macaroni to all start to come together. Then you're going to go ahead and add 4 cups of freshly grated cheddar cheese. Now, I had these 1-pound blocks. I was going through some of my freezer in the refrigerator, and I found one of each. They're still cheddar cheese, but they're 2 different companies. I had mixed them both together. And if you look up on the top right hand of the cutting board, I had found, see that? That was a really good cheese. It's nice and flavorful. I had also found in my refrigerator some leftover Parmesan cheese rinds. So those are good flavorings to add in for stews or soups or even meals like this to give it a nice Parmesan flavor. So that's what I used mine for. So I had put them in while the water is all cooking, and before I added my cheddar cheese, I had taken them out to mix then the cheddar cheese and all the way thoroughly through. Then you're just going to go ahead, once the cheese is done, you are most certainly welcome to go ahead and serve and eat it right away if you are that much of in a hurry. But you want to go ahead and let it allow to sit for a few minutes. You really want more of the noodles and the cheese to soak up that sauce and all the flavors a little bit more. But if you are in a hurry, you certainly can go ahead and do that. Now, that's kind of what I did here. I went and got my bowl. I went and served myself because I was getting ready to go to work. I work from home and I have to be at work for 5 o'clock, and I wanted to go ahead and relax a little bit. So this meal, like I said, is super easy, takes about 25 minutes. I want to say thank you so much for visiting my home today. And if you like these videos, please go ahead, like, share, but most importantly, go ahead and subscribe. I love all of your comments, so please go ahead and leave the comments down below, especially if you tried any of my recipes. I want to see what you've done and if you've done any altering. So please come back. We're going to have some more fun. Thank you and bye.